All right, guys, so I haven't done this type of video in a while using the little baby whiteboard here. We're gonna try it. This is gonna be the practice final answer key. So if you want to, you can just kind of fast forward through the work and get to the answers if that's all you're really wanting. So the very first problem I run into is that the pen doesn't work. Let me pause. All right, we're gonna see how this big boy does. I don't know. All right, so 1A. Let's see if I can make this work. I believe we did this in class, but 3 1/5 minus 1/10 divided by 31/20. You first want to make that into improper fraction. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16. And then you want to double times 2 to make it LCD. So then you get 32 minus 1 is 31/10. And then dividing by a fraction is multiplying by its reciprocal. So then the 31s cancel. 10 goes into 20 twice. So that all comes out to be 2. Crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna remember how I used to do this. All right, that was quicker than I thought. 1B. I'll have to see if this marker is gonna survive. 1B is purely an order of operations. Good old, please excuse my dumbass son. 5 minus 2 times 3 minus 5 is -2. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the sake of space, because that's the first thing we do, of course, because it's in parentheses. And please stands for parentheses. This is the very last thing I'm going to do is this minus, because that's at the end. It's at the tail end, the ass end of PEMDAS. The next thing I need to do is exponents. So -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. Notice I'm not making this 24. Of course I'm not, because the 8's on the bottom and the 3 isn't. How could they possibly make 24? Right? You don't multiply before you divide. You do them as they come. This is the very last thing I'll do, and then everything else, I do it as it comes. 2 times -8 is -16, so that becomes plus 16. Right? Negative times negative is positive. 5 plus 16 divided by 8 is 2. 5 plus 6 is 11. That's crazy. Now, this was quicker than I thought. I'll pause for a second. You can pause the video. And now, I love that you can just pause the video. I can just keep on going. Part C is going to be just a purely distribute problem, right? So if you understand this, just go ahead and fast forward. But it's just each of these gets a turn. 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times -2x is -4x squared. And then 2x times 3 is 6x. Then this guy gets a turn. -1 times x squared is -x squared. Notice I'm lining up my like terms. -1 times -2x is plus 2x. And -1 times 3 is -3. So now I just have to combine my like terms. 2x squared, cubed, minus 5x squared, plus 8x minus 3. And there it is. Oh, yeah, you can just pause if you want to. I'm just going to keep going. All right. So, part D, get in there. This one we did in class, so I'm going to do it a little bit quickly, but basically I'm going to do it as I do here. So those 6x's there go down, and there were already 7. Those 7y's on the bottom go up, and there already were 7 up there. 24 over 15 divide each by 3. That'll be 8/5. And on the top, I get 14y's. On the bottom, I get 13x's. Done. All right, so the whole, oops, sorry, you can't even see it. So the whole point of the problem is moving the negative powers first makes everything else you got to do easier. All right. You know what's funny is, anyway, I think I'll work with this. Anyway, don't worry. It was a camera setup thing that I just realized would have been easier, but too bad. We're going. I'm going to take this away. Let me see. Part E. Ooh, okay. Might have to try another marker out in a minute. I'm going to sort of start to factor as I go here, because it's the whole idea of part E is to factor everything you can. So I can take a 5 out of the top. The bottom is going to be a cubes. Times, I can take an x out of this one. I'm going to run out of room, but those are basically the same. I can kill those. On the bottom, I can't really do anything. I can kill a 5. All right, let's see what we got. So this is factorable, right? So down here, I can say x plus 3, x minus 3 over x minus 3. Those obviously go away. I've got an x over x cubed. So I can kill an x. So I end up with, oh geez, x times x plus 3. Sorry, there was no x there. Just x plus 3. That's the only survivor on the top, over x squared, the only survivor on the bottom. Nifty. So that's part E. I'll stop for a second. Okay. Part F is going to be just subtraction, not multiplication. So we just need to get our like terms together. But the first thing I really should do is rewrite it. So I bring that negative through the second set. This is not quite long enough. So if I bring that negative through, minus 3w cubed plus 5w squared minus 5. So now I can put my like terms together. I got 3w cubed. 3 and 5 is 8w squared. There's no more w's, so the minus 2w's just sits there. And then plus 5 minus 5 goes away. 2w. Get in there, 2w. All right. And then part G. Let's see, I got 3 over x times x plus 1 plus 2 over x. So I went ahead and factored that bottom there. Take a GCF out. So now I can see that this guy needs, let's see what you're like. This guy needs an x plus 1. Maybe I'll move to blue. So now I can put them together. 3 plus 2x plus 2 all over x times x plus 1. So I get 2x plus 5 over x times x plus 1. And I know I'm done because I can't factor the top and no parts cancel. I like it. So that was a very, just getting a LCD. So you had to factor this first guy to see what he had so you can see what the second guy is missing. How can you tell what they're missing if you don't know what they got? Okay. And then H, we did this in class, the long division. I don't know if I'm going to even have room on here. And again, you can always just fast forward if you want to. I got to pause for a second. There's something falling over here. Okay. All right. So then x times what is x cubed? X squared. X squared times x is x cubed. And then x squared times 5 is 5x squared. And then, of course, I change the signs. Those cancel. Negative 8x squared. Bring down the minus 7x. X times what is negative 8x squared. So negative 8 and another x. Oh, shit. Hold on. All right. The whole thing was about to fall over. Let me see. Negative 8x times x is negative 8x squared. That's craziness. Negative 8x times 5 is negative 40x. Change the signs. Those cancel like they're supposed to. I get 33x. Bring down the minus 12. X times what is 33? 33 times x is 33x. 33 times 5 is 1, what was it? 165. Change the signs, and I get negative 177. That sounds familiar. So minus 177 over x plus 5. I had just enough room. Whoo! So that looks like what we got in class. I like it. I know you guys love this so much. It just ends up being so messy and so hard to follow if you try to follow it after it's done. But that's not what follow means. So, okay, enough of that one. All right, and then next here I've got this one. I don't think we did do. Square root of 6 times square root of 10 is square root of 60. And then 60 is divisible by 4. Square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 15 I can't do. Bam. All right. J is just straight up, you should know this. 11 squared is 121, so square root of 121 is 11. K is not real. Somebody pointed that out in class. It's trying to take the square root of a negative number. L is one where you have to break it up, and if you do 1 plus 3 plus 5, you get 9. So 9 goes into it. 9 goes into it 15 times. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 15, I don't know, which is kind of neat. I don't know if I did that on purpose. Oh, let me see. Where am I? L. And then there's M was extra credit. But just to show you, for M, square root of 20 is square root of 4 times 5. Square root of 45 is square root of 9 times 5. Square root of 4 is 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 9 is 3 times 3 is 9. So then I get 9, negative 5, square root of 5. Anyway, that's an extra credit problem. But it's basically, if you break each of the radicals down, they become like terms. They both become rad 5. And then you're able to put them together. But that's from a section that I made extra credit that we didn't get to. All right, so there's those. All right. Let me see. Oh, then we got our beautiful word problems. So let's see. We got one side, smallest side, largest side. So 1, small, large. They're angles. One side is 3 less than twice the smallest. So I got to give the smallest a name. And then the one side is 3 less than twice. And the largest is 5 more than 3 times. And then the perimeter is 62. So these have to all add up to be 162. So 2x, x, 3x, that's 6x. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. It's supposed to equal 62. Did I say angles? I meant sides. And then minus 2, 6x equals 60. Divided by 6 divided by 6, x is 10. So then I get 10. Did I give any units? No. So 10. This is the only time you have to put units is if I don't give you any. 10 times 2 is 20 minus 3 is 17. And then 10 times 3 is 30 plus 5 is 35. And if you want to check it, just make sure that these three numbers actually do add up to be 62. And they do. Yay! And then 2b, or not? Stop it. Yeah, we did this one in class, but it was basically, you got the width, and then this is 2 more than 3 times the width. And then the area, so you have to multiply these. So you get 3w squared plus 2w equals 261. So then you bring that over. And then you need to do 3 times 261, and that's where you get 783. And then you do 2 numbers that multiply by 783 and add to be 2, and you eventually find, was it 29 and 27? Sounds about right. Let me check. 30. Come on, Jeff. 30 would be, I can't think right now. 0, 1, oh, good Lord, Jeff. 60, 80, 810, 810 minus 27. Yeah, okay, good. So that's right. And of course, this would have to be negative. So you would get 3w squared minus 27w plus 29w minus 261. We know it equals 0. I'm doing this a little bit sloppy because we did this already. Plus 29, w minus 9. You can double check me there. And then, of course, you get w minus 9, 3w plus 29 equals 0. This is going to lead to a negative w, so screw him. I get w is 9. So the width is 9. 9 what? 9 meters. All right, that's the width, and that would mean the length of that 3 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2 is 29 meters. All right, so we did that in class, but I mean, that was kind of gross. Probably shouldn't have done it at all, but oh well, there it is. All right. Then we got some factoring stuff. So let me focus on this a little bit more because I just did this one, the last one, really quickly. But whenever the first number is not a 1 and you can't take it out, you got 3 terms. You do 5 times negative 6. It's negative 30. What factors of negative 30 add to be 7? That would be 10 and 3. And negative 7 has to have the negative 10 so that when you add them, you get negative 7. So then you split up the middle term. That becomes negative 10x plus 3x, and then the minus 6 is still there. Then you group, and you GCF each group, and you go a little bit insane. Okay, there we go. Chabow! So remember, you can't do the last step unless these are the same. If those are not the same, it's trying to tell you you made a mistake. Don't push it. All right. 3b, it starts off as just a GCF. You can take a 10 and a y out, and then you go, oh my gosh, that is a difference of squares. And I think I'm going to change markers for the next problem. This poor guy. Thank you for your service. All right. 3c, that's the answer, by the way. Ooh, yeah, there we go. 3c is going to be, it has to add to be 28, and, I'm sorry, add to be negative 11, multiply by 28, that's going to be 4 and 7, and they're both negative, so they make negative 11 when you combine them. All right, so when there's a 1 first, it's awesome. It's just a number puzzle. Okay. 3D, again, starts off with GCF. They always, you should always check GCF first. And then this you identify as a cubes, right? XXX, 222. So this comes for the ride. 1x and 1, 2 with a plus and the little dude. The other 2 x's, and then 2x in the middle, and then the other 2 2's, and you're done. All right. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Let me see, where am I at? Maybe I will, I don't know how much time I'm at. I really can't tell. All right, let me just stop this. This is going to be part 1. All right.